In the NBA, the offseason often fuels hope and positive expectations. Fans dream that their favorite young players will make significant strides, rookies will step up immediately, and star players recovering from injuries will finally endure a full 82-game season without setbacks. However, when the regular season kicks off, that optimism can quickly be replaced by intense pressure, especially for certain players whose performances will be closely scrutinized. But here's where it gets controversial. Not every player is under the same level of pressure. Some are veterans trying to prove they can still carry a franchise. Others are young stars whose progress has stalled due to injuries or skill limitations. And some are former high draft picks on the brink of being labeled as disappointing busts. In this landscape, several individuals must deliver strong performances this season to justify their places and revive faith in their potential. Let's dive into 6 NBA players facing immense pressure to bounce back and redefine their careers entering the 2025-26 season. There's no specific ranking here, just a spotlight on the pressing need for each to rise. LaMelo Ball, guard, Charlotte Hornets. Remember when LaMelo Ball, just 20 years old, was named an All-Star in his sophomore season? Since then, consistency has been elusive. Over the past 3 seasons, Ball has appeared in only around 35 games per year due to recurring wrist and ankle injuries, a challenge that's weighed heavily on both his development and the Hornets' performance. Now 24, LaMelo's immediate task is to prove he can not only stay healthy, but play winning basketball that the team and fans can count on. Initially, questions about his shooting ability dogged LaMelo before the 2020 draft. Yet, he evolved into one of the league's highest volume three-point shooters, hitting about 36.5% for his career, roughly average efficiency for NBA standards. Still, his shooting dipped last season, hurt by a questionable shot selection featuring reckless pull-up attempts beyond half-court. If Ball can recalibrate his shot choices and maintain his health, his skill set, potentially the best ball-handling ability among players 6 feet 8 inches or taller, coupled with an instinctive knack for creating plays and finding open teammates, could put the Hornets on the brink of a promising future. In fact, without LaMelo on the floor last season, Charlotte was disastrous, managing just 3 wins against 32 losses. Keeping him on the court is step 1. Next, he must remind everyone of his legitimate all-star caliber talent. If he succeeds, playing alongside up-and-coming stars like Brandon Miller and Con Knipple, plus a stash of future assets, could make the Hornets a rising force. Zion Williamson, forward, New Orleans Pelicans. At his peak, Zion was a force of nature, dominating games with unmatched explosiveness. It's easy to forget that he was in the midst of a breakout performance during the 2024 play-in tournament against the Lakers before a hamstring injury sidelined him in the final minutes. Since then, Zion hasn't been the same, with injuries defining much of his career so far. Now entering his 6th season, this might be Zion's last significant chance to cement his status as a top-tier player. Despite losing some of that explosive power that turned heads at Duke, Zion has proven he can still be a highly efficient scorer when healthy. Unfortunately, management changes in New Orleans have created instability, making it tough to trust the franchise's ability to maximize his talents or build a solid supporting cast around him. Many see Zion's struggles and injury history as symbolic of the franchise's broader misfortunes. A once all-time great draft pick now weighed down by health issues and inconsistency. Could a fresh start elsewhere be the remedy Zion needs? He still has the raw ability to turn his trajectory around, but the question remains: can New Orleans salvage their investment, or must Zion seek a new chapter to revive his career? Ja Morant, guard, Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies' disappointing fade after the All-Star break last season triggered seismic changes. Head coach Taylor Jenkins was shown the door, and star wing Desmond Bane was traded. Now, Memphis's chance to claw back into Western Conference contention rests heavily on Ja Morant's shoulders and his ability to prove he belongs among the elite players in the league. Last season, Morant's scoring dipped somewhat amid a shift in Memphis's offensive approach away from ball screen sets. His jump shooting struggled, especially from floater range, where he took an increasingly high proportion of shots, nearly 31%, of his attempts, but only converted 43.6%. Efficiency has never been Morant's calling card. In 6 seasons, he's only once posted a true shooting percentage above the league average. But there's room for positive change if he can sharpen his three-point shooting and focus more on driving aggressively to the rim. Adding to Memphis's woes, key big men Zach Edey and Jaren Jackson Jr. face significant injuries, likely increasing Morant's role and usage from the start of the season. The question is, can he rise to the occasion and prevent the Grizzlies from sliding backward? His ability to carry the offensive load and deliver on both ends will determine the team's fate. Joel Embiid, center, Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid's plight might be the most poignant story of all. Before a knee injury in January 2024, he was arguably the top scorer in the game. Unfortunately, the meniscus tear sustained from an on-court collision, followed by a season largely lost to recovery, has cast a shadow over his prime years. Embiid is locked into a supermax contract through 2029, making his health and availability absolutely critical to the Sixers. The possibility that his dominance has already faded at just 31 is heartbreaking, yet it's an all-too-familiar narrative for elite big men whose bodies start to break down prematurely. His size and shooting skills, especially his mastery of mid-range scoring, suggest his style could age gracefully if he can get and stay healthy. Philadelphia's potential swings dramatically depending on Embiid's condition, making him the linchpin in any hopeful Sixers resurgence. This is the part most people miss. Embiid's future isn't just about points and rebounds, it's about the patience and medical execution needed to keep a once-in-a-generation talent on the court. Alex Sarr, center forward. Washington Wizards' Alex Sarr entered the league with big expectations as the second overall pick, but faced immediate challenges. The Wizards lacked a dependable lead guard to facilitate his game, and the team's notoriously poor three-point shooting made spacing harder than ideal for the rookie. Although Sarr showed flashes of promise on both offense and defense at times, his overall production was underwhelming. His finishing ability inside was notably disappointing, shooting just 45.4% on two-pointers. Surprisingly low for a 7-foot athlete blessed with notable athleticism. Beyond that, his three-point shooting was unreliable, hitting only 30.8% on